When you speak, speak from the heart. When you act, when you take action, ensure it's aligned with your heart, which is aligned with Yahuwah. Yahusha, the Son of the Most High who saves, the Most High who redeems, the Most High who delivers you out of the darkness and the wrath and the decadence and depravity that you may find yourself wallowing in. Talks about refraining from boasting. How so? He talks about how when you give alms, when you do charity, when you undertake good deeds, do not make a grand show of it. Do not blow the trumpets. Think about that. When you show off about all the wonderful things you're doing, who are you doing that for? You doing that for Elohim? You doing that for Yahuwah? Or are you doing it for yourself? In fact, you're doing it for the esteem of man. So you're not doing it for Yahuwah, Yahusha. You're not doing it for your fellow man, and you're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the glory of others. You want to be put up on a pedestal by your fellow man. And as Yahusha, the Son of the Most High, says, you will have your reward. You have your reward when you do so. As some public form of grandstanding, you're going to get what it is you're seeking, the esteem of man. But what you will not get is the righteousness of Elohim. You will not find the reign of Elohim. Because Elohim, the Supreme Elohim, the Most High, Yahuwah, Yahusha, does not live or exist in this illusion, in this false tapestry. He lives here. He lives in your heart. So this is where you need to be right. What you're doing is not meant to be done for the eyes of your fellow man. You're not meant to make a public show of it. For those who do their alms, their charity, their good deeds in a humble manner, quietly, it is seen by Elohim. And he rewards you openly. You do these acts of charity, these alms, these good deeds for the esteem of other men. And you never get enough esteem. You never get enough glory. You're always clawing and scratching for more. So you never really get what you're after because the esteem of other men is empty. It's an empty whisper that weighs nothing. However, when you do your good deeds in a humble manner and quiet, Elohim, Yahuwah, rewards you openly. He talks about how when you pray, don't make a grand show of your prayers. Those in the churches, those in the temples, those on the pulpit, they love to worship with their lips. They love to make a big show of it. Why are they doing that? They're doing that to reach the ears of Yahuwah or to reach the ears of men so that their fellow man knows how holy they are, knows how righteous they are, knows how sanctified they are. He says when you pray in your heart, go into a room, go into a quiet place. Have a communication, have a connection with Yahuwah that's deep here, not out there. He doesn't live in this illusion. He lives in here. Have that conversation here. And you will be rewarded openly. Seek the reign and the righteousness of Elohim, not the esteem and glory of other men. Talks about when you fast so that you can get closer to Yahuwah. A lot of people, they put on a stark, sallow countenance so that others can see their suffering, such that others know they're suffering for Elohim. But Elohim, Yahuwah, knows. He knows that you're fasting so that you can get closer to him. You don't need to make a big show of it. You don't need to let the world know you're fasting to get closer to Elohim. You don't need to. He says, and I'm paraphrasing here, when you're fasting, anoint your head, wash your face, look fresh, right? Put on a fresh, lively countenance. Let the world not see you suffering, right? Such that they don't know the hardship you're going through to get closer to Elohim. Because if you're doing it so that they know you're doing it for their accolades, for their kudos. But if you truly seek the righteousness of Elohim, you do this in a humble manner. And you receive your reward openly. For those who pray and make a big show about it, who worship with their lips and not with their hearts, who get on the pulpit, for those who fast and show their suffering to the world as if they're so brave and courageous that they're willing to go 40 days worth of fasting. They let the world know about their fasting. They get closer to Elohim, that the world can see how they suffer for Yahuwah. When you do big acts of charity and good deeds, and they do all of this, so the world knows how good they are, how righteous they are, how wonderful they are, how elevated they are, they receive their reward. And their reward is nothing more than the weightless, worthless emptiness of the glory of man. Seek the truth of Yahuwah. Seek his righteousness. Seek the reign of the supreme Elohim. Because he lives in here. You connect in here with Yahuwah, not out there. And when you connect in here with Yahuwah, when you do these things, in here, when you go inside to make your connection, when you do your good deeds in a quiet, humble manner, you're doing it for your fellow man, and Yahuwah will know, and he will reward you openly. When you do the work to get closer to him, he knows, and you get closer to him, and you're rewarded openly. When you pray, you have that conversation in here. You have that conversation in here. You have it with your soul and your spirit. You make that connection. You tap into the eternal frequency. His broadcast is 365. That transmission is powered throughout the universe. You can tap into it at any time, but you don't tap out. You don't tap into it by making a big deal about it. You tap in here. You get on that internal frequency. The heart is the receiver. You tune to that right channel and you're blasted with the message. You're blasted. You're rewarded with the revelations and the epiphanies and the understandings to all the questions you've ever had are answered. All that you've ever sought is received and more, such that your flour is pressed down, shaken, and your cup overflows, such that you're compelled to pay it forward. You have so much. You have more than you could have ever imagined, because you're rewarded by Elohim, the supreme Elohim, the most high Yahuwah, openly. Make the connection here. Get right here. And all is right with Elohim. And when you are right with Elohim, when you are right with Yahuwah, all is right in your world. All is right in your, because you will be exactly where he needs you to be. You will receive everything you could have ever imagined and more, such that your cup runneth over. And everything you've ever wondered about will be revealed to you. You'll be exactly where he needs you to be, when he needs you to be there. Because when you surrender to Yahuwah, Yahusha, Son of the Most High who saves, the Most High who redeems, the Most High who delivers, he washes over you with his salvation. He fills you with the Ruach. You are baptized by the Ruach, the set-apart spirit, the breath of Yahuwah. And you are baptized, you are immersed in fire such that you are purified. Your heart is truly purified. Not by the grace of other men, but by the will of Yahuwah, the breath that fills you up. That light cleanses you from inside. It heals you from inside. It fills you with the peace, the joy, the healing, the love, the everlasting life that you've sought for all of your days. You finally received it, and more than you could ever imagine. You're exactly where you can serve him best. You're exactly where he needs you to be. You're exactly in the place where you can do the most good for Yahuwah. And that is why when you are walking with Yahuwah, Yahusha, that's why when you're living in Yahuwah, Yahusha, all is right in your world. Because when you are right with Yahuwah, Yahusha, no matter where you are, no matter what you think is right or wrong, no matter how much you think you have or you don't have, no matter how you think it's panning out, all is good. All is strong. All is glorious. All is beautiful. All is wonderful, because you know when and only when you are living in Yahuwah, Yahusha, and your heart has connected with him. Your spirit, your soul is connected with him. Your mind is connected. You're tapped into that frequency. Then it doesn't matter what your life appears to be in this illusion, because it's only a mirage, a hallucination. This is a false reality. When you are living in Yahuwah, Yahusha, when you're tapped into that eternal transmission, you see the zeros and the ones. And when your heart is right with Yahuwah, Yahusha, this illusion is meaningless. Any of the hardships, any of the challenges, any of the stark realities, any of the barriers, any of the mountains that you think you're climbing, any of the journeys that you're on, it's all meaningless. Because you will be none of that matters. Because you are right with Yahuwah and you're exactly where he needs you to be in the real. And you are rewarded openly, your heart filled not only to the brim, but such that it is bursting with his love, his healing, his joy, his peace, and his everlasting life. Because you know the word, the way, the truth, and the life, and you have received and understand deeply, because you've been in that conversation, in here, not out there, in here, not out loud, quietly in here, not boasting, not on the top of the mountain shouting about how great you are, about how smart you are, about how elevated you are. In here, deep, you've done the contemplation, you've done the rumination, you've done the meditation, you've made that connection, that eternal transmission, you've had those deep dialogues with Yahuwah, Yahusha, and he has revealed all the revelation, all the epiphanies, and they keep coming every day that you nourish your soul and nourish your heart with the word. You understand deep, because you're always contemplating it. The single commandment, the one that sets you right on the narrow path that leads to the narrow gates to the kingdom to come, and that is to love Yahuwah with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your fellow man as you love yourself. Get right in here, and all is right in your world. Get right with that eternal transmission, and all is right in your world. Get right with Yahuwah, Yahusha, and all is right in your world.